Hello, perceptive reader. Welcome to Reading Wisdom. I'm going to take my first sip of coffee, coffee, so that my voice will read. You see, and I'm looking at Matthew chapter 5. Give me a moment. All right, now in Matthew chapter 5, you have most likely seen this chapter mentioned more times than any other chapter and verse from me over the years. And you've seen me mention several different scriptures, and I emphasize the communication of it all. What you can look forward to in the future, what type of person you are and who others are, and when they have difficult, circumstances in life, how they can read this book and even, or this passage in particular that we're talking about today, and still see that God does have everything under control as far as the outworking of his paradise that he's going to bring in. He's already shown, even in Matthew chapter 5, what type of personalities, what type of view we're all going to have. And when I say what type of personalities, it doesn't mean that we have different, that we have the same personality. All I'm saying is when people have expressed themselves at times, well, you know what, let's just run this business with integrity. Okay, let's just be good for one another, or happy for one another, or what have you. I mean, and you can talk to many groups of persons, friends and stuff like that, and that's just the way that they've functioned for years. So we already know it's possible. We already know, and they actually apply without even realizing it at times. What is even mentioned in Matthew chapter 5? To keep the communication good, to keep the communication honest, to keep the communication with integrity. And yet, you see, Jesus, remember, who was speaking these things, he knew, you see, he knew the state and the condition of humankind at this time. He knew it. And what he was still giving us the encouragement to do is to know things one day will get better, like the way that he is going to make them better, you see, in a paradise earth. And in the meantime, strive to still do better, to apply what he was talking about. And I always like to mention this point that sometimes after Jesus healed persons or saved them from this or that situation, you will notice sometimes Jesus would say, now go and don't sin no more, even though he knew that they would. But notice that's what he still said. So that goes to show you so much about the reason we really need the ransom sacrifice in the first place. And also, persons have said many times before that God is not expecting more of us than what he knows that, we can do or handle. And that's even in the book of Corinthians. Yet, what some miss the point on, you see, is that doesn't mean we have persons acting like drill sergeants over us, purposely trying to push us to the limit in this way and that way, because that's not what that scripture is meaning, you see. But anyway, look at Matthew chapter 5, okay? And we're in Reading Wisdom. Matthew chapter 5, continuing this special reading series, is during the month of June, you see. Yeah. When he saw the crowds, he went up into the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. And he opened his mouth and began teaching them, saying, "Happy are those conscious of their spiritual need." One moment, perceptive reader. Let me take a look at something. Okay, all right. I'm just going back to Matthew chapter 5, and let me begin again. He said, happy are those conscious of their spiritual need, since the kingdom of the heavens belongs to them. Happy are those who mourn, since they will be comforted. Happy are the mild-tempered ones, since they will inherit the earth. Happy are those hungering and thirsting for righteousness, since they will be filled. Happy are the merciful, since they will be shown mercy. Happy are the pure in heart, since they will see God. Happy are the peaceable, since they will be called sons of God. Happy are those who have been persecuted for righteousness' sake, since the kingdom of the heavens belongs to them. Happy are you when people reproach you and persecute you and lyingly say every sort of wicked thing against you for my sake. Rejoice and leap for joy, since your reward is great in the heavens, for in that way they persecuted the prophets prior to you. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its strength, how will its saltiness or its saltness be restored? It is no longer usable for anything but to be thrown outside to be trampled on by men. You are the light of the world. A city cannot be hid when situated upon a mountain. People light a lamp and set it not under the measuring basket, but upon the lampstand, and it shines upon all those in the house. Likewise, let your light shine before men, that they may see your fine works and give glory to your Father who is in the heavens. Do not think I came to destroy the law of the prophets. I came not to destroy, but to fulfill. For truly I say to you that sooner will heaven and earth pass away than for one smallest letter or one particle of a letter to pass away from the law by any means, and not all things take place. Whoever, therefore, breaks one of these least commandments and teaches mankind to that effect, he will be called least in relation to the kingdom of the heavens. As for anyone who does them and teaches them, this one will be called great in relation to the kingdom of the heavens. For I say to you that if your righteousness does not abound more than that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will by no means enter into the kingdom of the heavens. You heard that it was said to those of ancient times, you must not murder, but whoever commits a murder will be accountable to the court of justice. However, I say to you that everyone who continues wrathful with this brother will be accountable to the court of justice. But whoever addresses his brother with an unspeakable word of contempt will be accountable to the Supreme Court. Whereas whoever says, you despicable fool, will be liable to the fiery Gehenna. If then you are bringing your gift to the altar, and you there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar and go away. First make your peace with your brother, and then you have come back, offer up your gift. Be about settling matters quickly with the one complaining against you at law, while you are with him on the way there, that somehow the complaint may not turn you over to the judge, and the judge to you, the court attendant, and you get thrown into prison. I say to you, for a fact, you will certainly not come out from there until you have paid over the last coin of every little value. You heard that it was said, you must not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone that keeps on looking at a woman so as to have passion for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If now that right eye of yours is making you stumble, tear it out and throw it away from you, for it is more beneficial to you for one of your members to be lost to you than for your whole body to be pitched into Gehenna. Also, if your right hand is making you stumble, cut it off and throw it away from you, for it is more beneficial to you for one of your members to be lost than for your whole body to land in Gehenna. Moreover, it was said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. However, I say to you that everyone divorcing his wife, except on the account of fornication, makes her a subject for adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Again, you heard that it was said to those of ancient times, you must not swear without performing, but you must pay your vows to Jehovah. However, I say to you, do not swear at all, neither by heavens, because it is God's throne, nor by earth, because it is the footstool of his feet, nor by Jerusalem, because it is the city of the great king. Nor by your head must you swear, because you cannot turn one hair white or black. Just let your word yes mean yes, your no, no, for what is in excess of these is from the wicked one. You heard that it was said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. However, I say to you, do not resist him that is wicked, but whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other also to him. And if a person wants to go to court with you and get possession of your inner garment, let your outer garment also go to him. And if someone under authority impresses you into service for a mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one asking you, and do not turn away from one that wants to borrow from you without interest. You heard that it was said, you must love your neighbor and hate your enemy. However, I say to you, continue to love your enemies and to pray for those persecuting you, that you may prove yourselves sons of your Father who is in the heavens, since he made his sun rise upon wicked people and good, and makes it rain upon righteous people and unrighteous. For if you love those loving you, what reward do you have? Are not the tax collectors doing the same thing? And if you greet your brothers only, what extraordinary thing are you doing? Are not also the people of the nations doing the same thing? You must accordingly be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. Perceptive readers, I realize there may be a lot of expressions and hyperbole that Jesus made in this sermon when he was talking to the people. And yet, just like back then, if people wanted to know further, they could ask him. His disciples certainly could. And the same goes here. You got a question about any one of these statements that you see in Matthew chapter 5. You can fill out, wouldn't even take your sentence, paragraph at the most probably. What was that question in the first place? What didn't you understand Jesus said at buymeacoffee.com/James Poeartistry? And I told you before, no other place at this time, that you can really contact me, and I'll get back to you within the same business day. You see, I'll get back to you, with the answer, or if not the answer, I'll just let you know where you can go to get it. Or really, I'll just at least give you an ETA when I will come back with the answer or what have you. If I don't happen to know it on the top of my head, all I can tell you right now is in Matthew chapter 5, you see, this whole section altogether, I've read it quite a few times over the years. I've done in-depth studies. I listened to the different, once again, fine speakers of God's organizations and even people that I told you before that, they get to feeling good on certain days, on hot days, and have their favorite beverage. I've heard their different expressions. So what am I telling you? It's probably not one statement that Jesus made in Matthew chapter 5 that I couldn't tell you a little bit about that would encourage you. Take care of yourself.